amazing. I've been working all this time.
Hey buddy, how are you? Good stuff, man. This is yours. Working sturdy pretty quick, so.
I'm pretty good.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How's it going, everybody? I'm at Kyle's house right now. This is Leopazzo TV, Reef Tank Addiction, Season 2, Episode 1. And I'm super excited to be featuring this gorgeous 410-gallon saltwater coral reef fish tank. Kyle, thank you so much for having me here today. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself so we can literally jump in this tank and start learning as much as we can about it.
Yeah, my name's Kyle. I've been in the hobby for about 6 years, and other than that, I started out with a 29-gallon BioCube, and it just kind of snowballed into this thing. Issues. If the tank crashes, that's bad. But if the auto top-off gets stuck on, or something really bad happens, you know, I want to be able to do something.
Good stuff.
I mean,
thinking in ahead and planning.
Yeah, I mean, the easiest thing to fix is a tank crashing. It's hard to fix a whole basement and a tank crash and all this other things. That's actually life-changing, right? So that's what you usually want to watch out for.
You're so right. What's this reefsupplies.ca?
Well, Reef Supplies, I needed a light pretty much for underneath it because I can't see that well.
Okay.
And every piece of equipment on this tank minus the lights is from Reef Supplies. It's from Ray. How I shop is I pick a company. If they're good at what they do, even if they don't have the cheapest price, I will shop with them. So when I was searching and sourcing things for this tank, I had to buy a lot all at once. And usually all of it had to be shipped in. Ray at Reef Supplies, I believe he's the CEO of them, was extremely helpful, and everything came in within like 1 day. It was crazy because they were in Montreal. And all around he's been extremely helpful, which I'm happy about.
So Ray at Reef Supplies, he definitely has great customer service, and he looked after you.
Yeah, probably one of the best places with customer service in this hobby in Canada that I've dealt with so far.
Fantastic.
And I've dealt with a lot of people so far in the tank.
That's good to know, man. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Yep.
All right, so what else? Water changes we covered. We talked about the brains, the filtration.
Yep.
What about when you're, introducing any new fish or corals? Do you have any kind of sort of quarantine tank, or do you just drop them in?
No,
what do
absolutely not. I did that once in this tank. I went nuts when I first set it up, and the whole thing crashed out of
just adding too much? Too
much at once, not quarantining properly, not dipping the fish, not doing stuff. If you look next to this, all the apex wall, you see a 75-gallon auto top-off tank. It's just a 75-gallon glass tank that is covered in Sintra.
So here's another 75-gallon tank?
Yeah, so there's my auto top-off tank. It was first, though, a quarantine tank for larger fish, because with large fish, you need large quarantine tanks. I was lucky enough to get all 3 of my large fish from people that I actually trust in pre-quarantine stores, especially for my tank and this tank type of deal.
Yeah.
So I was able to throw in the bigger fish a lot quicker than usually. But everything else is quarantined pretty much for 90 days. All the fish.
All the fish before they enter your 200.
They're in a quarantine tank for 90 days.
90 days. Where's this quarantine tank here?
Right here in a closet that's not finished at the moment, and you can see this is pretty much where all my saltwater junk goes. So it's a Nuvo Fusion 20.
Okay.
It's an all-in-one system. It's really nice. Plus, it looks half decent.
Yeah.
It's actually ran by an Apex as well. If you look over here, there's an Apex on it.
Wow. So
that runs this whole system, and other than that, I have a lot of salt, a lot of EVS 2-part, all my bulk stuff you buy, fish food, just all the random bits and pieces that you just always seem to collect.
At least put it away.
Yeah, when you collect and do the hobby. And then I have different, nets for the quarantine tank and the display tank. Just so I don't mix them up, and I have different colored buckets that are labeled
different nets, guys. See that? That's something I don't really do.
Yeah, I've had issues with fish, and I just don't like dealing with
Don't bother taking a chance, right? If you can prevent it, then you might as well, right?
Yeah, because I had I had probably $1,500, $2,000 worth of fish in the tank that I had to give up or lost
Right.
in my crash, so I'm just not dealing with that again.
No, just take the extra precautions, right?
Yeah, especially since you have to leave it like fallow with no fish in it for like 80 days to get rid of it out of your system. So,
Exactly.
yeah, that's no fun.
Not at all.
Staring at a fish tank with no fish in it's not cool.
So you house them in here
Yeah, most fish again.
for 90 days.
Yeah, bigger
and what
fish.
did you do? Did you put any kind of chemical?
It matters what the fish is
Matters what the
showing.
fish is?
Yeah, usually it's always copper because usually fish in Canada, most of them come in with something. So I have I've coppered pretty much every fish that's gone into my system because they've all shown signs of something. But I also deworm and stuff like that and all that good stuff.
Well, it's good to know, man. It's very, I guess, important to make sure before you put any fish inside your tank. What about, corals? Do you do any kind of like acclimating, dipping, or coral bath?
I dip every coral that's in the tank. I mean, really, if you wanted to do this hobby 100% correct, you would quarantine everything that goes into your tank.
Right.
I'm not waiting 6 years to fill this tank up, so
Okay.
I'm not going to do that. I've never had anything show up on corals or anything.
Okay.
But I do dip. I usually dip 3 or 4 times actually. And then they go into the tank. Past that, the only thing I really quarantine and really take seriously are the fish.
Okay.
I've never really had much problems. If I get more and more SPS, I might change my view on that, but right now there's nothing that can really cause much issues. That being said, I have gotten like red flatworms before, but I just bought the fish that eats them and he's gone, which is the blue damsel sitting there by himself.
So the blue damsel is eating
the azul, I think they're called azul damsels or something like that.
Okay.
They're known to eat flatworms. I took flatworms out of my tank and saw which ones ate the flatworms. That was one of the 10 that ate the flatworms. I threw them in, all my flatworms were gone within 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, and he just seems to, oh, he's a nice fish, whatever. I'll keep
It's amazing. In the camera here, he looks red-orange.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what he does. Other than that, I've never had any real hitchhikers. I mean, I've had like rock crabs and stuff, but they're easy enough to get
Right.
out.
What about, one of my nightmares and other people's is aptasia?
No, I've never really had problems with it. I mean,
No?
you can physically remove it with the aptasia remover as long as you don't leave it. If you see it, get rid of it.
Okay.
The second that you see it and then you let it sit for a month, you might have a problem.
Talking
I've never had an issue.
about aptasia, it makes me think about starting a reef tank with either dry rock or live rock.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you usually find those hitchhikers on live rock versus the dry rock. So what did you start with this tank? You said you about to have how many pounds? 300, give or take.
Something like that.
Live rock and
Yeah, I started not dry rock. It's all live rock.
it's all started out with live rock.
Yeah, it's all live rock, but it's also from a 200-gallon tank that I set up a long time ago.
Right. So it's like trustworthy live
Yeah.
rock. You know where it came
Yeah, I
from.
didn't really have many hitchhikers. I did have rock crabs, but that's mostly from some of the corals that probably weren't dipped long enough or something like that. Other than that, I mean, I've had it pop up here and there. I've had bubble algae pop up here and there.
Right.
I just buy the proper animal to get rid of them. And I've always had luck.
That's pretty much your. Instead of using chemicals,
Yeah.
you always try to resort back to the natural way of doing
Yeah, I
things.
rarely use chemicals on the
Good
tank.
stuff. I'm with you on that one, trying to resort naturally, right? If you
Yeah.
have a problem, grab like a fish or a coral or something that's going to kind of
Yeah, I
help
mean, sometimes you have to use chemicals. I understand that, but
Yeah.
I don't like using chemicals because
you don't have
I don't
to.
really put anything into the tank that I can't test for.
Cause once you're hooked,
Talk
like
about
a
testing.
dick,
What
reef
are
keep
some
it.
things that you
Thinking
do
about
test?
your tank,
I
yeah,
test
even when
everything
you're
still. I
sleeping,
even test
maintaining your
ammonia
levels,
once in a while.